When you think about where your food comes from, you might picture sprawling farms in the Midwest or sunny orchards in California. But let me tell you about a place that blows all those ideas out of the water. We're talking about Alaska. Now, here's a fact that might surprise you. Nearly 95% of all the wild salmon harvested in the United States comes from the cold, clear waters of this state. It's an incredible number that speaks volumes about the sheer wildness and productivity of this place. This isn't just a small-time fishing operation, it's the backbone of a major food source for the entire country, a massive industry built on the natural cycles of a truly untamed environment. This single fact changes how you see Alaska, moving it from a remote wilderness to a central player in what we eat. Alaska is a land of extremes, a place of immense scale that is hard to wrap your head around. It's more than twice the size of Texas, a colossal expanse of mountains, forests, and tundra. Yet for all its size, only a tiny fraction of its land is used for farming, less than 1%. The reasons are pretty clear when you look at the landscape and the climate. The ground is often frozen solid, the growing seasons are short, and the terrain is rugged and unforgiving. These conditions have shaped a unique relationship with food, one that relies less on plowing fields and more on harvesting what the wild provides. It's a culture born from necessity, where survival depends on understanding and respecting the natural abundance that exists, rather than trying to force the land to do something it wasn't meant to do. This unique environment has forged a food culture unlike any other in America. Alaskans have learned to live in tune with the seasons and the resources they bring. When the salmon are running, the entire state seems to come alive with the energy of the harvest. It's a time of hard work, community, and stocking up for the long winter ahead. This isn't just about economics, it's a deep-seated part of the Alaskan identity. The reliance on wild foods, from the rich salmon of the rivers to the massive game animals of the interior, creates a direct connection to the land. People here know where their food comes from because they often go out and get it themselves, a powerful bond that is becoming increasingly rare in the modern world. The story of Alaska's food is a story of adaptation and resilience. It's about finding ways to thrive in a place that many would consider inhospitable. The state's agricultural secrets aren't about vast fields of corn or wheat. They are hidden in the powerful currents of its rivers, the deep cold of its oceans, and the quiet patience of its hunters. It's a system built on respecting the limits of the environment while celebrating its incredible bounty. From the fishermen pulling nets heavy with sockeye to the families processing moose meat for the winter, every meal tells a story of survival, tradition, and a profound connection to the wild heart of the last frontier. It's a lesson in how to live with the land, not just on it. The seafood industry in Alaska is the stuff of legends, and at its heart is the salmon. Commercial fishing here is not for the faint of heart. It's a high-stakes, high-reward profession that demands incredible physical and mental toughness. Imagine being out on the open ocean, in a small boat tossed by rough seas, working around the clock when the fish are running. Fishermen use different methods, like gill netting or purse seining, to catch these powerful fish. It's dangerous work, with heavy machinery, unpredictable weather, and the constant risk of injury. Every season is a gamble, a bet that the salmon will return in large numbers and the market prices will hold, all while hoping your boat and your body can withstand the strain. The risks are immense, and they go far beyond the immediate dangers of being on the water. The entire industry is vulnerable to the whims of nature, and now it's facing a new and formidable challenge: climate change. The warming ocean temperatures are starting to disrupt the delicate life cycle of salmon in ways we are only beginning to understand. These fish are incredibly sensitive to their environment. They need specific water temperatures to spawn and for their young to survive. As the waters warm, we're seeing shifts in their migration patterns, and in some areas, worrying declines in their populations. This isn't just an environmental issue. It's a direct threat to the livelihoods of thousands of Alaskans and the stability of a vital food source. For the men and women who make their living on the water, these changes are a source of constant anxiety. A bad season can be financially devastating. They invest huge amounts of money in their boats, permits, and gear, often taking on massive debt with the hope of a good harvest. When the fish don't show up, or when regulations have to be tightened to protect dwindling stocks, the economic pressure is intense. It creates a difficult balancing act for fisheries managers, who must try to conserve the resource for future generations while also allowing fishermen to make a living today. The future of Alaskan salmon fishing depends on finding a sustainable path forward in a rapidly changing world. This industry is more than just a job. It's a way of life that has been passed down through generations. The knowledge, the skills, and the deep respect for the ocean are woven into the fabric of coastal communities. The uncertainty brought on by climate change is not just an economic problem, it's a cultural one. It threatens to unravel a tradition that defines these towns and the people who call them home. The resilience of Alaskan fishermen is being tested like never before as they navigate the choppy waters of an uncertain future, hoping that the salmon, the lifeblood of their industry, will continue their ancient journey back to the rivers of the last frontier. As challenges mount for traditional fisheries, some Alaskans are looking for new ways to work with the water, and oyster farming is one of the most promising. These farms are popping up in the protected bays and inlets along the coast, taking advantage of the cold, nutrient-rich seawater that helps oysters grow plump and sweet. It's a different kind of farming, one that requires patience and a deep understanding of marine ecosystems. Instead of chasing fish, these farmers cultivate their crop in one place, carefully tending to the oysters as they grow. This innovative approach offers a more stable year-round business model compared to the seasonal boom and bust cycle of salmon fishing, providing a new source of income for coastal communities. However, this new industry is not without its own struggles. Oyster farmers are also at the mercy of the environment. In recent years, they have faced serious setbacks from ocean acidification, a direct consequence of increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The more acidic water makes it difficult for young oysters, or spat, to build their shells, leading to massive die-offs in hatcheries. It was a devastating blow that nearly wiped out the burgeoning industry. But in true Alaskan fashion, the farmers didn't give up. They have been working with scientists to find solutions, like monitoring water chemistry more closely and developing more resilient oyster strains, demonstrating the same spirit of innovation and perseverance that defines the state. Looking inland, another fascinating experiment in Alaskan agriculture is taking root: bison farming. These magnificent animals, once native to parts of Alaska, are incredibly well suited to the harsh climate. Their thick coats protect them from the brutal cold, and they are adept at foraging for food even under a blanket of snow. Raising bison offers a potential source of lean, healthy red meat that is raised locally and sustainably. A few dedicated ranchers are working to build up their herds, managing these massive animals on the vast expanses of land. It's a challenging endeavor that requires a different set of skills than traditional cattle ranching, but it holds the promise of a resilient and climate-appropriate livestock industry. The path for bison ranching is not easy. One of the biggest hurdles is the sheer scarcity of the animals and the high cost of establishing a herd. It's a long-term investment with no guarantee of a quick return. Furthermore, there is an ongoing debate about how to best manage these animals to ensure they don't negatively impact the native ecosystem. Finding the right balance between farming and conservation is key. Despite these difficulties, the idea of raising bison in Alaska is a powerful one. It represents a move toward an agricultural system that works with the natural strengths of the environment, rather than against them, tapping into the wild spirit of the land to create a sustainable food source for the future. In Alaska, the connection between hunting and putting food on the table is as real and direct as it gets. For many families, especially those living in remote communities, hunting is not a sport or a hobby. It is a fundamental part of their survival and their culture. And no animal is more central to this tradition than the moose. A single bull moose can weigh over 1,000 pounds, providing hundreds of pounds of high-quality organic meat that can sustain a family through the long, dark winter. The annual moose hunt is a deeply ingrained ritual, a time for families and friends to work together, share knowledge, and fill their freezers with a year's supply of food. The importance of the moose hunt goes far beyond simple sustenance. It is a cultural cornerstone, a practice steeped in tradition and respect. The skills required to successfully and ethically hunt a moose are passed down from one generation to the next. It involves learning how to read the landscape, understand animal behavior, and track patiently through dense wilderness. The process of butchering and preserving the meat is also a shared community activity, strengthening social bonds and reinforcing a collective identity. For many Alaska natives, the moose hunt is a sacred act, a way of honoring the animal that gives its life and maintaining a spiritual connection to the land that has sustained their ancestors for millennia. Given its critical importance, the moose population is managed with extreme care. This is not an unregulated free-for-all. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game implements strict regulations to ensure that moose populations remain healthy and sustainable for future generations. These rules dictate when and where hunting can occur, what types of moose can be harvested, and how many an individual can take. Hunters are required to obtain licenses and tags, and they must report their harvests. This system of controlled hunting is essential for conservation, balancing the needs of the human population with the long-term health of the wildlife. It's a science-based approach designed to protect this invaluable resource. This careful management ensures that hunting remains a viable way for Alaskans to feed themselves. It's a system built on a shared understanding that the privilege of the hunt comes with the responsibility of stewardship. By following the rules and hunting ethically, Alaskans play an active role in the conservation of the species they depend on. This model of wildlife management, where hunters are also conservationists, is a powerful example of how humans can coexist with and benefit from a wild ecosystem. The moose hunt is more than just a source of food. It's a living symbol of Alaska's unique relationship with the wild, a testament to a way of life that is both self-reliant and deeply connected to the natural world. One of the most surprising agricultural secrets of Alaska is its ability to grow truly enormous vegetables. Every year at the Alaska State Fair, people are amazed by the sight of cabbages the size of armchairs and zucchinis that look more like baseball bats. This isn't a trick, it's the result of a unique environmental phenomenon. During the short but intense summer, the sun can shine for up to 20 hours a day in some parts of the state. This extended period of daylight, known as the midnight sun, provides an almost non-stop source of energy for plants. They just keep growing and growing, converting all that sunlight into incredible size, a process called photosynthesis on overdrive. This natural advantage, however, comes with a significant catch. The Alaskan growing season is incredibly short and can be unpredictable. While the long days of summer fuel rapid growth, the threat of an early frost is always looming. Farmers have a very narrow window, typically from late May to early September, to plant, grow, and harvest their crops. This limited time frame makes outdoor farming a risky business and restricts the types of crops that can be successfully grown. You won't find fields of crops that require a long, warm season to mature. Instead, Alaskan farmers focus on cool weather vegetables like cabbage, potatoes, carrots, and lettuce that can thrive in the short, intense summer. Because of these limitations, a significant amount of food production has moved indoors. Nurseries and greenhouses are becoming increasingly common across the state, from small backyard operations to larger commercial facilities. These controlled environments allow growers to get a head start on the season by starting seeds indoors long before the last frost. They can protect vulnerable seedlings from the harsh and unpredictable spring weather, ensuring a much higher survival rate. For many Alaskans, a small greenhouse is an essential tool for gardening, allowing them to extend the growing season and produce a wider variety of fresh food for their families, creating a small pocket of summer warmth against the lingering cold. This move indoors has also led to a surge in a more high-tech solution, hydroponics. This method involves growing plants without soil, using nutrient-rich water instead. Hydroponic farms can operate year-round, completely independent of the weather outside. They can be set up in insulated warehouses in even the most remote communities, providing a consistent supply of fresh greens and herbs. While this technology offers a powerful solution to food security, it also raises some food safety considerations. These closed systems must be managed carefully to prevent the spread of waterborne pathogens. As Alaska embraces these modern techniques, ensuring proper safety protocols will be crucial to their long-term success. The story of food in Alaska is a powerful testament to human ingenuity and the will to adapt. From the daring salmon fisherman braving the open ocean to the patient hunter tracking moose through the wilderness, Alaskans have always found ways to thrive in one of the world's most challenging environments. They have learned to read the seasons, respect the power of nature, and innovate when faced with new obstacles. The rise of oyster farming in the face of declining fish stocks and the development of indoor farming to overcome a short growing season are perfect examples of this resilient spirit. This constant adaptation is not just a part of their history, it is the key to their future survival. Now, Alaska stands at a crossroads, facing questions that will define its future relationship with food. The traditional, resource-based industries like fishing are becoming riskier due to the unpredictable effects of climate change. A single warm winter or a shift in ocean currents can have devastating consequences for an entire industry that supports thousands of families. This raises a critical question. Should the state continue to rely so heavily on these vulnerable wild harvests? Or is it time to shift its focus and investment toward more controlled and predictable methods of food production? It's a debate about balancing tradition with the need for stability and security in an uncertain world. The push for more indoor farming, from simple greenhouses to complex hydroponic systems, offers a compelling alternative. These technologies could provide a stable, year-round supply of fresh produce, reducing the state's heavy reliance on expensive food flown or shipped in from thousands of miles away. Investing more in controlled environment agriculture could bolster food security, create new jobs, and make communities more self-sufficient. Imagine remote villages, often cut off by weather, having access to fresh greens all winter long. This vision represents a significant shift from a culture of harvesting the wild to one of cultivating a controlled environment, a move toward manufacturing food rather than gathering it. Ultimately, the path forward for Alaska will likely involve a mix of the old and the new. It's hard to imagine an Alaska without the salmon run or the moose hunt. These practices are too deeply woven into the state's identity, but relying solely on them may no longer be a sustainable option. The challenge lies in finding the right balance. How much should Alaska invest in protecting its wild resources versus developing new agricultural technologies? How can it preserve its rich cultural heritage while building a more resilient food system for the future? These are the questions Alaskans are grappling with today. What do you think? The future of the feast in the last frontier is a story that is still being written, and its next chapter depends on the choices made now.